Welcome to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft, the founder and CEO of Judy Heft and Associates Financial and Lifestyle Concierge. This year, they're celebrating 26 years in business. In every episode, Judy interviews professionals who help others successfully manage their financial lives. You can find this show on YouTube, LinkedIn, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. Judy is the author of 2 books, How to Be Smart, Successful, and Organized with Your Money for a Better Today and Tomorrow, and her latest book, Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles, How to Successfully Manage Money in Every Decade of Life. You can read chapters of her books and catch prior episodes of this show at www.judithheft.com. Now here's the host of Mastering Your Financial Life, Judy Heft.
Hey everybody, welcome. Welcome to our 16th episode of Mastering Your Financial Life. And today I'm excited to introduce Carolyn Walsh Parry. Carolyn is a matrimonial attorney, a family attorney. She calls herself a settlement-focused attorney. Carolyn is passionate about teaching, about understanding that the family unit is still important, even though there's a divorce happening or people are separating. Her goal is to keep her clients and help her clients get through this emotional process with as little stress as possible and to stay strong and unified together. So thank you, Carolyn. I'm so happy to have you as my guest, and I'm really looking forward to talking to you. Did I leave anything out of the introduction?
You did not. Thank you so much, Judy.
Oh, great. So I think, I was kind of wondering, what is your approach to handling divorce matters? How do you handle that to start?
Well, my approach is settlement first. And if, hopefully we can settle it, we can stay out of court. That is my number one goal, to try to get through the divorce, or even a prenuptial agreement or a parenting agreement, whatever the client concern is, and to do it with as much dignity and as much civility as is possible. Not always possible, but that's the number one goal.
That's a great goal. And I think it's so important because fighting over which fork goes with you and which dish you're going to get is so nominal compared to dealing with the children and what's in their best interest. So that's great that you do that. I love that you're focused on that, on keeping the family unit intact. And I know that you have a lot of personal experience because I was reading up on you, and you're a product of a divorced family. You're divorced yourself. You're married to a divorced man, and you're a stepmother. So you really have all those different sides when you're dealing with your clients to help them find the best solution. So that's great. So do you charge for your initial consultation? How does that all work?
I do not. First of all, I don't advertise. So all of my referrals, all of my clients come from referrals. So someone will refer a potential client to me, and I will always give a 30-minute free consultation. Because first of all, I want to see if this is a type of matter that I can handle. If not, I will try to help the person find someone who can. And if this is the right fit for me and for the client.
So do you mostly do collaborative or mediation? How does that work?
Okay, so I am a trained mediator. I'm expanding my firm, and I brought a very experienced mediator into my firm. I don't love mediation, if I'm being honest with you, for everybody. I know a lot of people turn to that immediately because, when they think, I don't want to go to war, I don't want to have an ugly divorce, let's do mediation. Mediation is not great for everyone. There really has to be a certain equality going into a mediation. If you have a relationship where one partner is very forceful and another partner is always kind of conceding to make peace, it's not a great match for mediation. Because keep in mind, in mediation, you have to be your own advocate. You don't have a specific advocate for you. I have not been trained in collaborative. I don't have that designation, although in theory, that is what I do. I'm really trying to settle that case with the other attorney. However, and the reason I if people don't know what collaborative is, that is where both attorneys agree that they will settle the case, and if it can't be settled, the parties will get new attorneys for litigation. I don't necessarily love that. I think it's great motivation for the attorneys to get it settled, because I've come up against terrible attorneys who just like to churn that file. And just get every cent that they can out of the clients. I think that's abhorrent behavior. So I am going in and trying to settle. However, sometimes you need the assistance of the court. It could be one conference with the court just to kind of get everybody on the same page. It could be if you have somebody who is not coming to the negotiating table in good faith. It could be maybe somebody is too emotional and is insisting on taking a certain position. Even if it's my client, I've had clients who were cheated upon and felt that that things should be different because they were the victim in that sense. And it took sometimes it takes a conference with a judge for the judge to say, "No, I'm sorry, we're no fault. I'm sorry that you were cheated on, but that's not going to really make that much of a difference in this case." So sometimes it helps to go in front of a judge to really clarify positions.
Well, that's interesting. So yeah, when I got divorced, I used a mediator, and I didn't feel like it was really the smartest thing for me to do at the end, or going through it. I wasn't happy. And I think the main reason that we did it, because there was like financial difficulties there, and there wasn't money to hire a good attorney, which unfortunately was a mistake. I mean, at the end, it all turned out, but I felt like there were a few things that I didn't get that I really felt like I deserved. So I don't think it was the right route for me, but for some people, if you get along well and there's not a lot involved, maybe not children or funds involved, I think it is a good route. But I think everything depends on the individual, right? I'm sure you see a lot of that.
Absolutely. If you have two people that have about equal finances, about equal personalities, and they're just really in agreement on everything. Well, this is how we're going to do it. It's all going to be very civil. Then that's great. A mediator can really just help them refine what they're thinking and get it, into an agreement. So that's great. But again, as I said, if you have very divergent personalities, sometimes it's not going to be the best thing because, again, the mediator is not your advocate. They're an advocate of settlement.
I think that's really important that you handle all that, because then when the client comes to you in the consultation, you get a handle. It sounds like to me, you get a handle on what their needs are and what's the best approach for them, because it is all individual. There's no cookie cutter divorce. It's not all that cut and dry.
It is very subjective to each individual. And I've had consultations where, I've had a couple where I've said, you know what, just go to one of those divorce factories and get, they do, it's like a flat fee and they do all the fees for you. I'm like, you don't even, you have no assets, you have no argument. This should be pretty easy. And other people I've said mediation is perfect for you. And others where I've said, it sounds like you could really use an advocate going into something like this. And going to an attorney does not mean that you have to litigate. It just means that you have somebody who knows what they're doing, who's going to negotiate the settlement for you.
I always think it's so important to have the right professionals no matter what you're doing, because, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer. I can't figure these things out for myself. That's why we have wonderful professionals like you to help. So that's good to know that you're there. And so are you admitted only in New York, or where do you practice?
I am only admitted in New York. So I only practice in New York. I will do Westchester or Nassau County, but really I won't go further afield than that.
That's good to know. So, we're going to take a little, break right now, and then we're going to come back and talk some more, Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn.
Okay.
Hey there. I just want to tell you a little bit about my new book that just came out called Mastering Your Financial Life Cycles. And here it is. It's how to successfully manage your money in every decade of life. I co-authored this with my CFO, Liz Levy. And together we created this manual that's going to help you through every stage of life. We talk about having a baby. We talk about young adulthood, pre-retirement, what to do when you're at that age of retirement, if you're contemplating divorce, do you need an estate plan? We cover all of these, each subject in a different chapter. And I really think that you're going to find this so helpful because at the end of every chapter, we have checklists that you can look at and you can use, and they can be a guide for you. So this is a wonderful manual that we've created. It's available on Amazon. You can also find it on our website at judithheft.com/book. And we're here for you. If you need anything, reach out. I hope you enjoy the book. Here's another picture of it, just so you know what's going on. Here it is. And I'm really proud of it. It's my second book. And I'd love to have you read it and give me your feedback. Judy Heft, judithheft.com, financial and lifestyle concierge, celebrating 26 years in business. And over the years, I've learned so much. And what I've been trying to do is impart a little bit of this knowledge to you so I can help all of you become as financially organized as I am. And welcome back. We're here with Carolyn Walsh Parry. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, so what is, I mean, I'm sure, you know, a lot of people like to pick your brain, your friends at cocktail parties and things, but what's the one piece of advice that you'd give someone that's contemplating the divorce process starting and they don't know where to begin? It's just so daunting and overwhelming.
That's a great question. I would say the one piece of advice I would give anybody who is starting the divorce process or is in the divorce process is pick a great team and know how to use them. So there's a lot of people that you need to have in your team. So, you know, you need to have your attorney, obviously, or your mediator, if that's the route that you're going, but, you know, you need to have a family law professional. You need your best friend. But remember, your best friend is not an attorney. So, you know, I get a lot of, well, my friend and I were saying that I should get this. Like, okay, know how to use your best friend. Your best friend is not your therapist. You should have a therapist. This is a great time to be in therapy. If you're not, you're going through a massive life change. How did you get here? You know, how are you reacting to this? I mean, there's no way that you can go through this experience and not have it change you. What will that change entail? You need to have a good financial professional, as you probably know, and that's what your career is based on, because your finances are very different now. You may not have been handling the finances. Maybe you were, but now you're handling it for only one or for you and children. So a great financial advisor. Remember that your divorce attorney cannot give you tax advice. We are not legally allowed to do that. And it would be not a great idea for me to give somebody financial advice, considering I don't have that background. So that would be a great person to have in your team. And it really should be separate. If you had the same CPA and filing taxes with your spouse, maybe you want to stay with that person, but I think you should probably get your own. Maybe, you should have, you had a banker with your spouse. I think you should get your own, new banker. I think that you should really have your own, new team that's really just for you and is not having any sort of conflicted loyalties. Maybe a family counselor. Maybe that this is a great time to be in counseling with your soon-to-be ex so that you guys can navigate how to be co-parents instead of lovers, partners. That might be a great person for you to have in your team. But it's really figuring out what it is that you want and what it is that you're going to need and the people that can help you do that. But everybody has their own role in your team, and one person can't be everything for you.
Oh, that's such great, important information. I know that when I was going through my divorce, we together went to a therapist to help us figure out how to tell the children. And they were, teenagers. They were actually college age, but how to tell them, what to say to them. And that really was helpful because, like I said before, I went through a mediator. I didn't have that. And, your best friend doesn't know. I like the way you said have your best friend, but remember your best friend's not a lawyer. That's so cool to say that, because I think, you're getting all this information. Your mother, your sister, your friends are telling you do this, do that. But ultimately your lawyer is the one you're supposed to listen to. You really should be listening to, because they know the law. They know what you're legally entitled to. And that's so important.
Yes.
The lawyer takes a little bit of the emotion out of it, right?
Absolutely. And while your attorney, look, if you're a family law attorney, you have to have compassion and empathy for your clients. You really do. Otherwise, just go do a different type of law that doesn't involve any sort of hand holding. but the handholding by your attorney should be somewhat limited. I understand that you think that your ex-spouse is a lying, cheating, no good, whatever. I understand that, and I certainly will listen to that. But really, it should be your best friend over the bottle of Chardonnay that you're really getting that out to. You shouldn't be spending legal fees and time, with your attorney. So that's something to keep in mind, that your attorney is not your therapist, and your attorney is not your financial advisor.
That's important information. That's good to know, Carolyn. Thank you. So how can people find you? How can they reach out to you?
Sure. Well, I have a website, Carolyn Parry Law. Sorry, I blanked out. www.carolynparrylaw.com. You can find me. You can also email me. My email address is carolyn@carolynparrylaw.com. And I'm happy to say that Judy referred you, and I'll be happy to talk to you.
That's great. That's good information. And I'm going to say to you, spell out your name, because Parry could be Perry or Parry. It could be, so spell that for people so they really can find you.
It's Carolyn, Carolyn, Parry, P as in Peter, Arry.
Thank you. That's helpful. So this was great. I'm so glad that we had a chance to talk. I love talking to you anyway. And so it's nice to have all our listeners get some sage advice from a seasoned attorney who really seems to know the ropes. You've grown up with it, you lived it, and now you're helping others. And I think that's so wonderful that you're really able to impart this wisdom to the people that you're serving.
And I love it. And I love what I do. And I love helping people. And one of the best things is when someone comes to me, they're starting the process and they're scared, they don't know what's going to happen, and they're afraid of losing their money, losing their children, whatever it is. And after we talk for half an hour, they kind of go, okay, I get it. This is going to be difficult, but it's not going to be impossible. And that's such a great feeling.
That's great. That's so good that you're helping so many people. Well, thank you so much. Thanks to our listeners. And we're looking forward to talking some more another time. Thanks, Carolyn.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Mastering Your Financial Life, hosted by Judy Heft. Thank you for your positive reviews, comments, and sharing this show with others. You can read chapters of Judy's books and catch prior episodes of Mastering Your Financial Life at www.judithheft.com.